Wow, what a lovely Monday we are witnessing today. And for a while now, I've seen some people wonder, when am I going to become all that I have dreamt of in my life? When am I going to start making impact? Well, here is Mr. Impact himself, and I'd like to give you a few tips today on knowing what type of impact you can make. Everyone created by God was created for impact. To make an impact means to make an impression in life. You are not supposed to leave this world unannounced. You are not supposed to leave this world without putting your footprint somewhere. A legacy that other people can, take off from or take a cue from. So what are the impact models we need to bear in mind? Basically, there are two types. I'd like to say one is the spread, the other one is the weight. The spread and the weight. So what do I mean by this? The spread has to do with statistic. So you can talk about the statistic impact model where we deal with numbers. In other words, okay, I want to touch 1,000 people, I want to touch 500 people, I want to touch 50 people, I want to touch 10,000 people. So all of these are things that are possible. But what are the pros and cons of the statistic impact model? The statistic impact model, yes, exposes small people, it exposes you to so many people, but the truth is you won't be able to stamp your feet and say, yes, I've made something, a lasting impression in these people. But that one-on-one contact, for instance, I have also met great men in my time, but you see, it was just a one-off thing. Very global figures, entities who've traveled the world, but we didn't have a one-on-one. So that's what brings me to the second impact model I think you should also put an interest in. I like to call that the stochastic impact model. Don't worry, those are my terms. Stochastic means it's a repeated training and a repeated impartation, a repeated learning process from the same person. I like to compare this, that way. You see, you could have one person who is equivalent to a community by virtue of the series of impacts, the weight of the impact that has been made on that one person. I used to say, okay, so if you are given the option to choose between 5 Boy Scouts and 1 soldier, to protect you, who would you go for? So most likely you see some people will opt for the 1 soldier because they believe that the training the soldier has received is more than what the 5 members of the Boy Scouts or brigade have gotten in their time. If you're asked to choose between 3 Israeli, Russian, and American security, top security men, and they tell you to choose between them and maybe 5 or 10 of your local vigilante, who should go with you? Who do you feel more safe with? I know what the obvious choice is going to be. So the statistic has to do with numbers. So you see the numbers, you see the crowd, you're impressed. But you see, not all of those people are deeply impacted. In fact, that's just a one-off thing. It hardly bears fruit. So when you come after 6 months of meeting those people, there is no result. There is nothing to take away. But when you talk about the stochastic, I'm not advertising, I'm not advocating for the one model, against the other. I'm just trying to let you know the various ways you can make impact. So when you have only 2 people, like Jesus only had 12 people, he impacted critically, closely. He also used the statistic model at times when he talked to crowds of 5,000 and the rest. But you see, all of those guys were just with him because of the food. The people he made a deep impact with. Now look at what happened. Jesus lived did his ministry for about 3.5 years and then left. Then those guys became a wonder. You couldn't stop any of those guys wherever they entered because of the depth of the impact. In fact, if you look at a part of the Bible like Acts of the Apostles chapter 4, it says that these guys were unlearned and ignorant, and people had to take note of these guys, that they were performing at unbelievable pace and magnitude. So what am I trying to say? When you think of making impact, don't just think in terms of the numbers. Don't also think only in terms of the weight. You can make impact in whichever way you feel like. It's just for you to know that there are 2 models you should bear in mind, 2 models you can opt for. You can take any of them at any point in time and begin to work on it. So I have people I mentor closely every week. I mentor them. Some of them have made progress. They are now coming in their numbers over 200, but when we started, we weren't up to 20. So I spend my time every week, I mentor these ones, That's my stochastic, my weighted model. If I pick any one of those guys, that's a soldier I'm picking up. If I pick any of those guys, that's a top quality personnel I'm picking up. Then there are people I minister to. I go there and I speak to. They are sometimes in crowds of thousands, sometimes in hundreds, you see, but I can't really trust any of those guys because I couldn't complete the curriculum with them. I believe it's something you've taken home today. So this Monday morning, don't kill yourself when you don't have the crowds. You could go for the stochastic. Now, if you have one person is enough. You can put in one person what 1,000 people cannot have. Yes, Samson himself killed 1,000. You build in somebody, you can put in Peter, something that can transform lives. 3,000 will bow when you apply the techniques of these models. So there are different models. We bear this in mind as we get into this new week. I wish you all the best of time. God bless you. Thank you.